Okay, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar. It is the first webinar in our new series in the run-up to Christmas. We'll be doing a few webinars. Most importantly, on the 11th of December, we will be releasing our brand new calendar feature. So that should be a really exciting webinar that's hosted by myself as well as somebody from our product team. So definitely want to jot down for the diaries and make sure you come along so you can talk to us about any questions you might have about that feature. So do stick around and have a look for some comms coming out about that soon. But for today's webinar, I'm going to be talking all about how to use the Magic Matrix to generate quality marketing opportunities. So as with all of our webinars, I'll be doing a quick run through of the slides, then I'll get into a demo. Feel free to add any questions you have in the Q&A section below, and at the end, I'll come round and answer them for you, hopefully. So just to introduce myself, I am Abby and I'm a customer success manager here at ProspectSoft. I've been with the company now for about 2 years, but recently moved over to customer success and it's been a lot of fun. So to quickly go through what I'll be talking about today, I'll start off by doing a bit of a quick refresher about just campaigns in general, just to remind everybody how they work and what you use them for. And then we'll get into the Magic Matrix. So again, I'll do a small refresher on how that works, where you set up the categories. But the main point of this webinar is showing you how to use the tool of building awareness and also kind of showing you the life cycle of a campaign from start to finish, where you turn your data into some quality deals, hopefully. So some key takeaways for today, as I mentioned, doing a campaign refresher. So whether or not you're connected to a marketing platform like Klaviyo or MailChimp, campaigns are still a really useful record to be using as they're really great to monitor your sales as well as your marketing activities. And also going through how to use the build awareness tool. What's really important though is not just how to use the build awareness tool, but I'm also be speaking about why you'd want to use it and in what scenario you'd want to use it in, because it's really important to understand the background to help you build a successful business. So I'll be speaking a little bit about that and our CRM growth engine. And then finally, another key takeaway is just the campaign life cycle. So understanding from start to finish how you can use campaigns to grow your business and what actions you need to take to improve business focus areas. All right, so let's get into the interesting part in the demo. So moving over to the CRM here, I'll start off with a campaign refresher. So to get to campaigns, you want to go to marketing and then campaigns. So campaigns are a tool to help you generate better leads that your sales team can then go ahead and close. So they can be used to manage both your marketing as well as your sales activity. And what you do is you create a campaign, and within that campaign, you have multiple activities. So, generally, as you can see here, there's a few campaigns. So, you'd have them perhaps for special offers, for webinars, any kind of communication you're doing with customers via email. So, if you're doing a bulk email send, you'd probably want to have a campaign for that, as well as any specific, perhaps, jam jar awareness, any upsell you're doing that specifically ties in with the Magic Matrix that I'll be speaking about a bit later. So if we go ahead and create a campaign, so my campaign is going to be on 2024. Let's do Christmas promos. And you want to say who it's managed by and a total budget. So that's just if you have a certain budget for this campaign, you can add it in there. And then, of course, a start date and an end date for when you aim to be starting it and finishing it. So that creates the campaign. So that's going to be kind of your parent record for all of the actual activities you do. So here you would then create a few different activities. So for example, I would probably do 2024 Christmas, like upsell to lost customers or something. So your activities are going to be a little bit more specific. And then you want to set a type. So your types are going to be, the majority of them are probably going to be e-shots. So that's actually sending bulk email campaigns. But you can also do things like physical mail shots. You can do telemarketing. If you're perhaps doing a promo on your website, you can have this drop-down list configured however you wish. But e-shot, to be honest, is the most common one, so I'm going to go with that. And then, of course, you can add a cost if you want to. So now that's created, you now have your activity, which is under your campaign. So this is actually what you're going to be working on. And you might already be thinking, why would you go to all of this hassle? If you're just going to be sending an email to customers, why do I need to create the campaign and then the activity? Well, in my opinion, it's really important for you to then be able to actually track the success of your campaign. So for this one specifically, I want to be marketing to customers who I've deemed as perhaps lost or I'm losing. And you need to make sure that this campaign is actually doing something, is actually generating you quality leads. And the way you can do that in the CRM is by actually linking your inquiries, your opportunities, and your quotes to a campaign. So what I mean by this is when you create, for example, an opportunity, if I just create a test one here, um, add in all of the required ones, you get down to source. And if I say source is eShot, you'll notice this drop down is the same as when I was creating my activity type. If I select eShot, then hopefully in the drop down, I will see the activity I've just created. So the 2024 Christmas upsell to lost customers. And if I create this opportunity, and obviously you create it under a customer, presumably one that's got in contact with you after you've done the email campaign, you would then work on that. But if I go back to the activity and if I give this a refresh, you'll notice now that opportunity is linked to this campaign activity. So I know I can then retrospectively go back, and once the campaign's ended and you're not getting any more inquiries, you can actually see how many opportunities or inquiries or even confirmed quotes have been generated from this campaign activity. So that's why it's really important that when you're doing these marketing activities, you do actually record it in the CRM and then you record kind of what happens afterwards. So then if it is successful, you can kind of deem that as a success and perhaps have a bit of a retro and think, why was that successful? And if, of course, you then don't generate anything, which I can imagine is highly unlikely, but if it does happen, you can perhaps think about why. You can maybe do another marketing campaign with the same customers. You can kind of follow it up. So that's kind of why it's really important to be using campaigns in the CRM. But obviously, what's more important is making sure you're targeting the right customers. So within a campaign, you obviously add your target contacts. Now you can either go individually and add contacts, or you can create a report and add contacts through there. But really, what's more important is making sure you're using your data in a way to actually generate growth in your business. Now, this is where it leads in really nicely with the growth engine that we've just released. So if I move over to the growth engine, and you might have to use your imagination a little bit here because the data on this is not how I would want it to look. But if we have a look at the attract and the close tiles, so our growth engine is all about the 7 strategies that we've identified you need to be focusing on to grow your business. And the attract one is all about how well you're attracting inquiries. So here this graph is going down, but for the purpose of this webinar, if we imagine it's going up, that's really positive. That means you're attracting loads of new business and you're not having any problems with that. And then if you have a look at your close one, again, imagine this is going up. That's again really positive. So what that's telling you about your business is that you're really good at attracting new business, you're really good at then closing that deal. So not only can you get inquiries in, but you can log the opportunities and those opportunities are most likely to close. So that's really amazing. You don't really need to be focusing on getting new customers. So you might be thinking, okay, well, marketing is all about getting new customers. But actually, if we scroll down and look at the customer lifetime value charts, if you're finding your order value is going down, and importantly, your retention is going down, that means you've got what we've called a leaky bucket. So you're able to put lots into your bucket. You've got no problem with that, but you've got a hole in your bucket, and all of your customers, all of the hard work you're doing to get new business, to get your customers with an opportunity in selling, but they're not staying with you for very long. You're not able to retain them. And that's what the growth engine can tell you. If you're looking at your order value and your retention, and both of those graphs are going down, it means you have a problem with the customer base that you've got. It means you're not able to perhaps upsell to them. They're not likely to stay with you. So, this is then when you want to look within the CRM, what tools do we have to help with customer lifetime value? And that's where you then go to our magic matrix because this is perfect for it. So now that you've identified you don't need to get new customers, you need to be focusing on your current ones. Well, what do I do with my current ones? Great question. That's what the Magic Matrix is here for. So the Magic Matrix is going to tell you all of your customers, have they bought a certain product from a category? Are they even aware of it? Do you have an opportunity, or are they totally unaware of a product in this category? The categories are configured within Magic Matrix categories. So you can have separate Magic Matrix categories compared to your product categories. If though you are connected to Unleashed, we actually recently released a new system setting where your product categories can actually map automatically to your Magic Matrix categories. We always recommend you have them separate, but I recognize that sometimes that creates a lot of admin, and usually actually they're mostly the same. So if you're if you use Unleashed, definitely worth checking out that system setting because it could be very useful. So that's how you configure the categories, and you would then set the Magic Matrix category on your products. And it's then going to tell you along here with these green dots, okay, Brown's Coffee Group has bought from this category. They're aware of jam jars, but they've not got an opportunity logged to buy with us, but they're totally unaware of our merchandise. So the Magic Matrix is really great at giving you a bit of an overview of your customers, perhaps what they're buying and what they're not buying. But what can you actually do to use this data? Like, how do you actually then get this into opportunities and into buying? Because remember, the growth engine showed you that once you get an opportunity logged, you're really good at closing it off. Customers are really likely to buy from you once the opportunity is logged. But how do I get those current customers re-engaged with my business? And that's where the build awareness tool comes in really handy. So in the top right-hand corner here, we've got build awareness. And so what this is going to do is in a simple, about 3 clicks, it's going to gather a customer list for you to start marketing to. So you want to select the product categories you want to be focusing on. Obviously, you might want to do a few different campaign activities, as I said. So perhaps you want to personalize the emails and filter it by account manager. You can do that. If it's a specific, perhaps you've got a brand new product category coming out, you've got a brand new line, so you want to just market to people who are unaware of it. You can then select the specific categories here, so you can get rid of them or add them as you wish. But for this specific scenario, as I've mentioned, I want to really focus on retaining my customers and re-engaging with some that I've perhaps recently lost. So what I'm actually going to do during this build awareness is use the RFM segments. So what I'm doing now is saying to the system, get me a list of customers who are in this specific RFM segment. So for here, I'm going to select lost, hibernating, at risk, don't lose them, about to sleep, and needs attention. Because those are all of the ones that are perhaps a little bit risky. You definitely want to be re-engaging with them, and the system's already done the hard work for you and has identified that they're going. So now we're just going through the steps of actually trying to re-engage with them. Because re-engaging with them, as I said, if you get that opportunity logged, you're going to do really well and you're going to be able to get quality leads and ultimately grow your business. So once I've selected those RFM segments, I'm going to select next. So now I've got a list of all of the customers within those RFM segments. And now I want to select for those product categories within the Magic Matrix, do I want those customers to be unaware, aware? Do I want them to have bought from the product category, have an opportunity for that product category? And you can change it for each product Magic Matrix category. You can add them here. But because obviously I'm doing this for the purpose of trying to re-engage some lost customers, I'm probably going to keep it to customers who are unaware and aware, because that means we don't actually have anything in the pipeline for them. So I want to be re-engaging them. So I'm going to leave it as it is and go next. And now what I'm going to do is add, well, the CRM is going to do is add this list of customers to my campaign activity. So the one that I made earlier is perfect for this. And once you click next, your contacts will now be added to that campaign activity. And you'll notice that you can kind of close off this and the system will just do it in the background for you. So within a few clicks, within the space of this webinar of about maybe 5 minutes that I've been doing this webinar, I've identified within my business that I need to be focusing on retaining my customers. I've then gone to the Magic Matrix, used our quick build awareness tool to actually generate a list of customers that I can now market to actually try and generate these leads. And all within a few clicks, really quick, really nice and simple. So if I go back to my campaigns and I go into my activity, I'm hoping when we go to target contacts and we give it a refresh, hey presto, we have a list of our target contacts. So these are all of the contacts that I just went through. So they're all going to be in a company that the CRM has deemed in one of those RFM segments that are don't lose, at risk, and they're also not aware of the product categories that I suggested, or perhaps they're aware, but they've not actually got an opportunity or bought from that product category. So these are going to be my customers that I'm losing, and I need to re-engage with them because the growth engine has identified for me that I'm not very good at retaining the customers. So I think you don't need to reinvent the wheel or anything. Perhaps an e-marketing campaign of a promotion for these brands, or just something saying, "Don't forget about us," might be quite good to just re-engage that communication with the customer. Okay, and the other useful thing you can do with campaign activities, so if you had MailChimp or Klaviyo or Spotler connected, you would also have a button down here that says upload contacts. So now if you were to click that, it would upload all of the list of your target contacts to your email marketing software for you to then send out the email. But what you can also do is actually filter your target contacts in a really easy way. So we've got these toggles here. So obviously, because you're doing marketing, you're probably only going to want to include contacts that have subscribed to your email marketing. You also probably want to exclude contacts with no email because obviously you're not going to be able to send an email to them anyway. And then you've got exclude customers who have actually left the company. So you've got quite a few options there. You can obviously toggle them on and off. And this is just a really easy way of filtering the target contacts. So for example, if you were just uploading target contacts, or so exporting a list of target contacts to Excel and uploading them to your Klaviyo or MailChimp, you would have to do those filters yourselves rather than using the CRM. We've already built these filters for you. So it's really nice and easy. And if obviously you've got quite a large customer base and you don't want to be spamming them all with email marketing, or you perhaps want to be a little bit more targeted, we've also got this really useful feature where you can select the number of contacts per company you want to be in this campaign, and you can actually specify which roles you want them to be in. So if perhaps like in this profile, you've got IT contacts or unknown or admin, you might not want to be marketing to them because really they're probably not the people you want to be speaking to. So you can select the salespeople, the marketing contacts, and again, that will just automatically filter the target contacts for you. Okay. And so that's really handy dandy. You can then send out your customers a marketing campaign via Klaviyo or MailChimp, and that's really great. And then when you get the opportunities or inquiries or quotes through, you can then as I said at the beginning, link that back up to this campaign activity, and you can then track how successful this was. And obviously, you're not going to be able to get opportunities from every single one of these customers. If you are amazing, well done, 5 stars. But sometimes you're going to get a few that actually don't reply. And what's even more impressive with using the CRM campaigns is that what I can do is go back to my campaign and I want to make a new activity, which is 2024 Christmas sales calls. And this is going to be telemarketing. So I've now gone to the position where I've sent out that marketing campaign to the customers who I'm losing to try and re-engage with them. And not all of them have come back to me with opportunities. We've not generated that many. So if I go back to the original one and I go to target contacts, I can then copy this list of contacts to another activity. So if I then search for that one, sales calls. So you've gone through the effort of sending that email campaign, but actually now the people who haven't logged an opportunity, I want my sales team to go and call them. I want it to be a little bit more targeted. I want to be getting a little bit more communication with the customers because remember, this exercise is all about re-engaging those customers because the growth engine has shown me I need to be focusing on that to grow my business. And again, if we look at the filters over here, what you can actually do is filter that target contact on this second activity with contacts that have not had an opportunity for this campaign. So if you were to apply that and apply filters, you can then, your target contacts, if I was to do it, I'd get rid of all of them because obviously none of them had an opportunity for the last one. But it would then show you only customers who haven't already got an opportunity for this campaign. So then your salespeople can quite easily go to the target contacts, open the contact name, and then go through them one by one and call. Because don't forget, we've got these arrows up here, which will just take you through each of the contacts. They can call, add a note, let them know what happened. So again, you've got really easy functionality there to then follow up even more with those customers to check in on them, try and get a little bit more engagement from them. Okay, so I think that's everything for the demo. Pretty sure I covered everything I wanted to. Let's open up back to my presentation. Or it's going to black screen. Let's try that again. There we go. So just to recap the key takeaways, I hope I haven't spoken too quickly or rambled on too much, but I did a really quick campaign refresher where I took you through how to just create campaigns, even if you don't have a marketing platform. I then showed you how to use the build awareness tool. Again, it was so quick and easy for me to get a really good quality list of customers who I can be contacting to try and re-engage them with my business. And then throughout the whole webinar, I kind of showed you the whole campaign life cycle. So I went from the very beginning of identifying in my business, what areas do I need to be focusing on, to then the steps on how you can take action from this. So I need to retain my customers. Great. Now let's start using the Magic Matrix to start building a list of those contacts that I can be marketing to who aren't my most promising ones. Because if a customer is already really loyal, you perhaps want to be marketing them with other things like promotions to for their loyalty rather than emails saying, re-engage with us and stuff like that. So I went through that whole process of start to finish, how you can get from understanding where your business needs to be focusing on to then the actions you can take. And yeah, on to the Q&A. I see some of you have submitted questions. Um, Here we go. So Joss has asked, are there ways to filter the growth engine reports into different product lines and divisions? Let me get out of this. I don't think you can filter it to different products, but what you can do, which is quite interesting. So if we were to go onto order value, obviously I apologize for the data in this demo system, but what you can actually do is by default, it will show you the trailing 12 months. You can switch it to monthly if you want. And actually what you can do is add benchmarks. So this is going to be, again, a really useful tool in terms of comparing your business to businesses in your industry or region or global benchmark. So if I was to do within industry, hopefully this is going to show me something interesting. Probably not. Do I have a better one? Maybe retention, that's going to give me something better. Nope. Region. There we go. That's what I wanted to show. So here you can see within the benchmarks, I'm kind of a little bit lower compared to my region. So again, that's going to be a really useful tool for you to see where you're comparing to other businesses. So then you can think, actually, if your retention is kind of plateauing, but it looks like here in my region, that's pretty normal. So maybe that's not something you need to be worried about too much. So it just gives you a bit of a comparison point. So you can't filter it to different product lines or divisions, but you can filter it to regions and your industry to different companies because it's meant to give you a bit more of a business overview in its entirety and help you focus on how to grow your business. So I hope that answered your question in a roundabout way. How do I upload to MailChimp? I only see a tag in MailChimp. Yep, so it's possible that it will say tag in MailChimp rather than upload. I think if you're connected to Spotlight, it will say upload, but it will just be two ways. There should be a little button that says tag in MailChimp. It should be right under the detailed description. But I think you can also go on here and it should say in this drop down tag to MailChimp as well. That won't be a sync, that will be a one-time send. So if you were to then, if you sent your target contacts and then added in any filters, you would need to send them again. It won't continually sync them. Um, Hopefully that answered your question. If you don't see that and you are connected to MailChimp, please do get in contact with our support team because it might be something's gone wrong there. Okay. Can you edit the magic matrix after you've added it to the campaign activity? So I'm not sure I quite understand the question, and that might be just because I didn't explain the magic matrix too well, is that this is all automatically calculated. So aware means that your customer is in a campaign within the CRM that has the product related to it, the product category related to it. You then have an opportunity, you would need to relate the opportunity to the product, to the Magic Matrix category for it to then turn blue. I think maybe if I refresh this, some of them might go orange because of the campaign I just did. I think some of these have gone orange now. But yeah, that's all automatically calculated. So in terms of them going to aware, they should now automatically go to orange because I've added a few of those to the campaign. Um, but once you've added it to the campaign activity, if the magic matrix then changes, so if, for example, they then did buy something in the space between you uploading it to the campaign and sending the campaign, it won't automatically remove them. It's kind of a one-time upload, if that makes sense. So hopefully that answered that question. If not, please do get in touch with someone and we can help answer that a little bit more. How is the awareness? Oh, okay. I think I just answered that one for you. But yes, the awareness of a product category is determined by whether they are in a CRM campaign or not for that Magic Matrix category. Can the Magic Matrix set to dynamically update so we get the rules as you have done and the info keeps growing / removing as required? Not sure I fully understand that question, I'm afraid. Um, so we set the rules as you have done so with the info. Oh, okay, I see. So you have like a campaign that kind of is just always updating and changing. That's not something that is within the CRM's capability currently. So it is just a one-time upload. That might be a really great idea though. So I definitely recommend you putting something on our product, on our ideas portal for the product team to have a look at. I'll also note that down to make sure to raise with my product team as well to dynamically change. I think the issue might be that as you saw, it updates quite quickly, so it might not always be quite accurate because it will always be changing. And but it's a great idea, so I appreciate that. If you are a new customer, how long does it take to have enough data to get the benefit of the growth engine? That's a really great question. So I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure, I think most of it will update quite quickly. So I know for the attract, this is going to be showing you based on inquiries. So if you kind of get inquiries generated quite soon, then you should be able to start using them. And obviously, a lot of them, like our order value and order frequency, is going to be based on your sales history. So even if you're a new CRM customer, if you've got that history in your accounting system and ERP, we'll bring that through and then that's the data it uses. So you don't necessarily have to be using CRM quotes. Obviously, some of them, like the ones up here, the close rate, that's going to be your CRM opportunity. So it might take a little while to gather enough data for this to be calculated, but you can still use some aspects of the growth engine. I don't know the specific time, like how many months we need for it to generate these, but I will note that down and make sure I get that answer out to you. Okay. Great. One more question. We have a lot of data in our CRM and not sure it's the cleanest. Is there any audit tool slash process that you recommend? Otherwise, our data looks a bit unreliable. Yep, that's a really great point because, of course, a lot of this, so the Magic Matrix and the growth engine is using your data. So it's only going to be as good as the data you feed into it. So the main kind of data cleansing tools we have is our data importer. So what you can do is export your data into Excel. You can then kind of clean up in Excel and then update that. That you can just re-import that company spreadsheet. And you can do that for contacts, companies, what other ones can you do? Inquiries, opportunities, notes. So that's where I would start in terms of just export all of that data, clean it up in Excel, and then we can quite easily bring that back into the CRM. We don't have any specific tools though for kind of identifying duplicates or anything like that, but our consultant team are really amazing and they can help you out there a little bit as well. So um, definitely one, Joss, we can talk about a little bit more in depth at a later date. Okay. I will stay around for a couple more minutes in case anybody has some last minute questions. Otherwise, that is the webinar done. A nice and quick one for today. But obviously, if you had any questions that you think of later on down the line, feel free to get in contact with us via the online chat. As a reminder, you can get there by clicking the question mark up here and selecting chat with us, and you'll be able to get through to somebody in the team. And of course, if you need to catch up on any of our webinars, do head over to our YouTube channel. But as I said, I'll sit here for another couple minutes in case anybody has any last minute questions. Otherwise, I wish you all a lovely week. How do I link the email to my campaign? So if you're connected to MailChimp or Klaviyo or MailChimp or Klaviyo and you have it integrated into the CRM, so you do that via settings. So you would just do system settings and go to, for example, MailChimp, I can't spell that, you would just click connect. And once you've connected, it will actually automatically feed that through. So if we were to go to a contact, it's not, annoyingly, it's not going to show you because it's not being connected. But what it would do is it would have a tab along the side here. It would say marketing integration. So there it would say kind of MailChimp, and it will actually show you a list of all of the emails that the contact has been involved in. It will show you whether the contact has clicked the email, anything in the email, opened it, and that sort of thing. So it's done automatically. There's no way to kind of specifically link a campaign to the email. What most people do is just call it the same thing. So the email campaign in Klaviyo would be named the same thing as the CRM campaign in the CRM. So then you know they're linked. Um, so hopefully that answered the question there. Magic Matrix is category opportunity categories. Mm, so do you mean the Magic Matrix categories themselves? Let me get back onto the Magic Matrix. So these categories are the product categories. Um, I keep saying product categories. They're the Magic Matrix categories that can be configured here. They're separate to your product categories unless you have unleashed where they can be the same. And then to link it to an opportunity, what you would do is go to the opportunity. Let's get one loaded up. Jam jars, this one. You should then see the Magic Matrix categories. So when you create the opportunity, you would then say, this is related to these opportunities, Magic Matrix categories. And then the Magic Matrix would update to say you've got an opportunity for X customer for these categories, is how those categories work. I've done that on one that's not under a customer, so I can't show you it updating, but that's kind of how those categories work, if that's what you're meaning there. Um, but the categories up along here are going to be the Magic Matrix categories, which are generally your product categories, but you'd usually do it as a bit of a wider one, so then you can use it for marketing if that makes sense. Okay. Doesn't seem like any more questions are coming in, so I am going to head. Oh, last minute one. When I got to sell in Growth Engine, it says I have no data. So the sell one, let me see if I can check what that one is. Mm-mm-mm. So this is going to be based on your opportunity. So that's going to be, you'd need to have some CRM opportunities logged for that one to create data. So we have done a whole webinar on the growth engine specifically. So if you were looking for more understanding on how the growth engine works, how it calculates its data, because we did actually build this in conjunction with Oxford Brookes University. So if you wanted more information on that, our founder, Andy, did an amazing webinar. I do recommend going to our YouTube channel to check that out, but we also have some amazing guides that you can read to understand a little bit more on how this data is calculated. But I believe the sell one is based on CRM opportunities. So you'll need to have CRM opportunities created for this to be able to gather data for you. Okay. There are any more questions, please do write them down. I'll save perhaps another minute in case there are any last minute questions, but otherwise we might be all done for today.